Welcome to Sifting Life. We're so glad you're here. In this space, we bring not just our life stories, but our faith. As we sift through the experiences life hands us, we trust in God's guidance to show us what to hold on to and what to release. Here we'll share our journeys of sifting through life with faith at the center. Stories of how we've discerned through prayer and reflection what truly matters. We'll invite guests to share their own faith-filled stories, and together we'll build a community grounded in God's wisdom. Our hope is that through these conversations, we'll create a harvest table of shared faith and insight, where each of us can grow, gather, and find nourishment for our souls. So come join us in faith. Pull up a chair. Let's sift through life together. Welcome to the journey. Hi guys, it's Dr. Jen here. I am so excited for today's chat. We apologize for the gap in the episode 5 till now. There's been a lot happening behind the scenes, including this incredible journey that Jackie's been on. We'll talk a little way later about the ups and downs of what's been my life lately. But Jacquie, go ahead. Take us through a walk through what's been going on.
Okay, so at the beginning of in January, we decided to do the Apostle Issy fast together, which was I'm trying to remember, it was 2 weeks of just fasting until dinner time.
Eat what you want. Yeah, eat what you want.
Yeah.
Or something, right?
And then it was 2 weeks of not eating until dinner time again, but it was Daniel fast, yep. Right? And then it was either 2 weeks or a week of just juicing. If I'm not,
it was 5 days, 5 to 7 days
of juicing, and then it was then you were to finish off the fast with 3 days of water fasting. So in my mind, I already had that enemy saying, "Oh, well, you'll try your best, and maybe you could pull off a day." And I remember hearing that negative chitter chatter in my mind of trying to figure out how I could circumvent it and still think that I did
it. Trying to get all fleshy.
Yes, exactly. And I ended up pulling it off. And so what I realize now is on day 3 of a water fast, the hormone, it's escaping me the name, that releases for you to feel hunger, disappears by day 3. So I was feeling incredibly amazing. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep going with this. So I just did it and thought, okay, well, however long I can just deal with it, I'm just going to do it. And with each day that went by, it just became easier and easier until it just becomes and then I just said to myself, you know what? I'm going to do 21 days. And I did a 21-day water fast. And it was...
You sure did.
It was life-changing, honestly. I never thought in a million years I could do something like that. But it's interesting.
That's such an encouragement to our viewers to be to just know that things that are hard like that you got through it, and you had doubts, and you're
from day one, I was already I'm not going to be able to pull it off, but I'm going to try my best, But God had other plans, and I did not know those plans, but his plan was to continue it onward for me. So it was a learning experience. It was a really beautiful learning experience that I had, and I would love to do it again. It really encourages you to want to do it again. But
what was the, I know that in fasting, we're encouraged, it's a time of prayer. It's a time of deep reflection. You had some conversations with me during that time.
Yeah.
But what really, on those days where you're like, I can't, I've got to, I remember you telling me that the food, it didn't initially, it didn't, and maybe at the beginning it bothered you, and then it was it didn't phase you. But in the times where you wanted to kind of throw in the towel and quit, did you just get into the word? What did you do?
So I don't know what happened to me, because I'm naturally not an overly determined person, but to be honest with you, it became this whole thing where I was like, maybe I could do longer, but then we had a family gathering that was coming up, and I didn't want to my daughter's birthday was coming up, so I was like, no, I've got to finish this thing. But I didn't. I had days where I felt very weak. I had days where I was like, wow, I could just stay in bed all day, but I
Yes.
had to go to work. And I felt weak, but I never felt it. It shut my body off. It shut the flesh off completely. And I didn't like say, oh, I want to, go and eat and just be over with this thing. It actually became more challenging to say, okay, when are you going to end this thing, Jackie? Like, you can't just
Because
keep doing
you
this
wanted to
forever.
stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember talking to you on like, I didn't realize that you were like still like fasting.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I wasn't successful. I fast every day, like once a day, kind of
Hmm.
eating my type of food. Um, and I got into that second week, and immediately the enemy, and I know now it was because now I'm doing it. I kind of revisited it. Was like, no, you need protein. Like you're not giving up protein, Jen.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like that. It was just like that. It was like my mind knew I was like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Like it was all about me.
Well, it's like I said, like when I first started, I was like already thinking, oh, well, you'll never be able to do the 3 days, but you'll try your best and you'll still say that you did it. You see,
Yeah.
our mind likes to play tricks on us, right? Especially
Yeah.
when we're going down a road that's probably going to take us to a better
Change.
place.
Change.
Yeah, change is right, right?
Or even, or even an openness and a deeper uh communication with God, right? Like
Hmm.
interference. It's like trying to like I picture like the phone like you
Yeah.
know like like the phone losing like service.
Yeah.
Um really the enemy coming in when you're deepening that, because you talked to me about some of these really deep understandings that came up when you
Yeah.
were in your church. Like do you want to share any parts of kind of the
Well,
opening and what God brought to you?
okay, so well, first of all, we walk, we're a little blinded. Our souls can blind us with the stuff that we carry, right? So we are like, I'm an intentional person who wants to, dig deep and figure out the stuff that holds us back. But it's interesting because in scripture it constantly tells us to fast, because it's so interesting how when the silence of the body happens, that all of a sudden the things start to like lift up into your mind to remind you of things that you haven't dealt with yet. And it's so surprising because you're like, I would have never been able to reach that thing, that issue, just trying to think it out in my mind. It was the spirit just lifts it to your understanding and you go, oh wow, that's like a blind spot for me. I really needed to deal with that. um, I think the whole process just made me recognize the really, really importance of understanding the three distinctions of our humanity, which is the spirit, soul, and body. um, we say that, but when you're fasting, that really becomes really evidently clear to you, because the body is quiet and then the soul is sitting there open, and then it opens up your ability to, now your spirit can connect with God and you hear his voice so clearly and so crisply, what you don't realize you miss out on every day. And
Beautiful.
that becomes so intimate that you don't want to lose that connection. um, and so it's so important that those three things are in the correct order, and I think
Wow.
fasting helps to do that.
Wow. I I didn't know. I don't know why. I always think there's ever always a reason, but just this week, I had a really. Actually, I was with you,
Yeah.
and then my stomach. Like we went out. We had some really delicious tortilla soup, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
No cheese. Hold the tortillas for you, and I immediately got a gut ache, and I had a coffee. I drink coffee, right? Not all the time, but I had a coffee and I put a little cream in it. And sometimes I do that. I don't always have it dairy, like very rare do I have dairy. But my stomach, and then I proceeded to like have not so nice things for like a whole day, like 24 hours or more. And so
Hmm.
I was like, and I I was just guided to be like, okay, you're gonna put less in. So I did a whole 24 hours just water.
Hmm.
And then I was like, I don't want to eat heavy. So I just was listening and I'm like, okay, just fruits and vegetables, right? And grains. So a little bit of brown rice, wild rice. And that's how I've been eating all week. I did have, had a little just scrambled egg yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of sat still a little bit heavy. So I'm like, no, not even the eggs. And so I'm going to sit with this. And what's interesting is just in the last 2 days, what I shared with you off camera came to me,
Yeah.
which was like, I'm going back 8 years to where I started of all this trying to figure out a plan of what God has for me outside of my clinic work as a doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going back to ground zero, to square one, where he told me a long time ago that it's this work that we're sharing now of
Mm-hmm.
spiritual counseling, is
Mm-hmm.
meeting people in their sifting as they're sifting life
Yeah.
and helping to counsel them through it
Yeah.
with the Holy Bible, the truth,
Yeah.
as our guide, as
Yeah.
the guide, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I guess I had to get the poops and go on a fast to figure it
Yes.
out,
Yeah.
because it was like right there. And then another thing that came was like, just be still, right? Like
Yeah.
that I've been really doing like 8 things at once. And I
Yeah.
think did I send you that, the monkey with the bananas? It was like, no, I sent it to Sister Connie Mannering from
Mm,
Limitless Ladies, because she was asking me how things were going and about you. And
right.
I was like, well, it was like this monkey, like with bananas. And she actually counseled me. And she's like, she also said to me, because she fasts with her husband, um, the first 5 days of every month, full just fluids.
Oh, that's amazing. That's something that I would consider.
Right? And maybe it's
Yeah.
something we could, because I feel like there's strength in numbers. Like we're strengthened
Hmm.
obviously by God in doing it, but to have you as my ministry partner and our community walking through it together, it could be really quite like, what a great way to start each month,
Yeah, absolutely.
with
Absolutely.
clarity, with an open,
Fine.
with the mind clear, the
Yeah.
vessel quieting the
Yeah.
body. That's one thing I've really noticed. And I know you said the body was just in your
Yeah.
21 days. I've noticed even in this 5 days, 6 days, which is like a measly nothing compared to your 21-day water fast only. But I've noticed that I have less food noise too. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
because
The body cries out and it wants things, but like the other thing that I haven't talked about is because I work with you, like Jen has helped me incredibly with my health and get my whole body back in order because it was completely out of order. And you just tested me this week, and let's not even talk about the health benefits that took place when I did, this fast, right? So not only did I have it dealt with my spirit,
absolutely.
it
Yep.
dealt with my soulish stuff that needed to be dealt with, my heart, my mind, my emotions, my thinking. And then because it quiets it down a lot and it makes it really, you just go in slow motion. Well, I guess that's how I felt, like I was in slow motion. I even spoke slowly and people, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I'm
What's
slow.
wrong with you? When
And
you
but then
said
my
something
body.
really prophetic this last week or whatever, we always have cool talks. But you said something like, and people, they've heard it, but when you said it, I was like, it was like an aha, because you said, um, what is happening at the soul level
Mm-hmm.
is what shows up in the body,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So now you have the ability to clear and renew the mind that we're called to do
Yeah.
by keeping the body right out of it. It's like, nope,
Yeah.
you're not even part of this now.
Yeah.
So cool. So
But
beautiful.
and I think that with our culture, and now we've been taught that we need to be eating 3 meals a day with snacks in between and all of the rest of that. I think it's really, sort of a use of the enemy to keep our bodies so noisy so that
Yep.
the soul and the spirit never have that opportunity to calm itself and listen.
Another thing that's been indoctrinated and created as a false narrative
Hmm.
that we have adopted as culturally as a truth,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Yes.
And in fact, as a history major in my undergrad and even just as a, inquisitive person, you're inquisitive too. It's a falsehood that our ancestors had 3 meals a day. They did
Absolutely.
not.
They did not.
They
No.
did not. They wouldn't. They didn't have the time, money, capacity, the goods to be doing any of that
Yeah.
at all.
No.
Right?
They didn't have fridges. They didn't have
No.
stoves.
And in fact, even up to the 1950s, I would say, because you can kind of even look at the body, the physiques of people until before they were doing that. And then post World War II is where we have this big push, where it's like the food machine, the war machine became globalized, kind of moving toward national and global food systems, control of the food system, and then pushing the products, the addictive products, let's be honest,
industrialized food,
right? The sugar, the white flour, all of that, right? All the refining and heavily processed stuff started around then, and then all of our health problems have did this big J curve of huge
well, also then allopathic medicine came into play too, right? We got rid of all of our old ways of doing medicine, period, right? So it was a real sort of all at once kind of overtaking.
Oh, it was definitely, and today the pastor, we had an off talk. There was some really good things that the pastor talked about, but thinking about the systems, like this allopathic, how medicine, how all of these systems, it's not the people that are bad, right? So doctors aren't bad.
No.
Okay? And I mean, I'm not that kind of doctor, so it's not that kind of place. I'm not even, I'm not registered. I don't have a license number. They can't tell me what to do. I'm actually a doctor of divinity. I'm just going to put it right out there. Who studied natural medicine. Okay. Right. I wrote my PhD in spiritual psychology. So just to, I'm going to put on the belt of truth. That's who I am. Yeah. God has worked through me because of how natural medicine worked in my life to help me through my cancer in other ways. But I think it's really important that we don't villainize individuals.
Absolutely not. No.
But that we can appreciate that the enemy will work through people to get their messages out and to get their destruction of God's creation done. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Whether it's in government, medicine, education, whatever it is. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because sometimes we villainize systems. I heard a little bit of that today, and and we talked about it off camera, and it's we can't do that. They know not what they do.
No. And and some people genuinely do what they do because they're care for humanity and believe they're doing the correct thing for everybody, right? So we're all in different places in our lives and our understanding, and not everybody is out to kill, steal, and destroy. We're all trying to function, and some of us know more than others.
Unfortunately, though, and this, Jackie, that there is this revival that's happening around the world, which is so beautiful. People coming home to Jesus. There is a portion of Christians really doing exactly what the enemy would have them do. Yeah. Which is creating more divisiveness, us against them, that politicians are evil, this is evil, and it's, or kind of painting everyone with the same brush. So
absolutely.
And that's not for me. I don't think that that's what we're called to do as Christians if we're wanting to live Christ-like. I don't jive with that at all.
Wouldn't it be nice if an entire nation could go on a fast and get themselves rebalanced?
Oh my gosh.
That. Even because it would.
Food addiction's real. I see it with patients all the time, every day. I'm still overcoming the body noise. And this is where I see fasting so powerful. And I'll be really I'm going to be open, right? Yeah. I'm always open here. I'm an open book. I'm an open testimony that when I was able to let go, and it's been some time where it was real addiction, but when I was able to let those things go, what took over was food noise.
Yeah.
And so, it's healthy, but you can overeat healthy food.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so what I've seen as this fasting is becoming, and I started fasting about 6 or 8 months ago, so last
Mhm.
year.
Yeah.
So as I started fasting, I was like, I'm not having all this food noise. I'm not wanting to go and, make almond flour cookies and eat
Yeah.
5 of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was
Yeah.
doing twice a week and, getting a little fluffy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, right.
Yeah.
So, and I know that that's the enemy again, using now food cloaked as healthy,
Yeah.
as still shutting down this
Yes.
opening, this temple to God.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Right.
quieting it. And and it comes at you and it becomes this distractive noise that never stops. And it's a messaging, well, maybe I should eat something, maybe I need to have something. I think it's also a Western issue because there's other parts of the world that don't have the access to food like we do, to such a ridiculous amount, that they're trained for that. And so this is something that's a weakness within us, is that we need to just quiet that voice that's going to say, you need something, you need a protein, you need something, you have to keep going, you have to keep moving. I mean, how much moving are we really doing in a day in this culture, right? We're not even doing that. And here's the thing. I realized, I thought, how can I fast for 21 days, go to work every day, commute, do this, do that? I did that. And
I'm sure you had the voice going, this isn't safe. You're going to get in an accident. You're going
it
to,
didn't. That voice
no,
shut down. Like, that's the thing that I can say about all those voices, all those things go
no, but I
away.
mean at the beginning.
Oh yeah, 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 for sure. But they go away and they don't come back. And it's like this, and I'm a active mind person and an
Yes, you are.
active talking person. So I'm like just sitting in silence with myself going,
You're like,
wow, this is
"Ah!"
really and going, okay, and then just being really like, and then also I'll talk too much, and so I was like only talking for the amount that I needed to speak, and I was like, this
No,
is so
they're like,
weird.
are you okay?
I got
Jackie, are
that
you
all the time.
okay?
I
Jackie,
got that from my
are
husband
you
going,
okay?
I got that from my husband. What's wrong? Is everything okay? And I'm like, I'm good. I'm just really slow and quiet.
I love it. Wow, it's so powerful. Like I know you're going to write a book one day, so this has to be a part of it, right? So I found a scripture because this is your journey, and I'm just like in awe of it, and you've really inspired me, and then I saw you, and then God made me, have diarrhea. Well,
Yeah.
not God made me, but it just happened to be. And then
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually walk through this journey. And you know what? And I want to tell people that it doesn't have to be perfect, right?
Mhm.
I had a few little speed bumps. I told Jackie off camera that I tried eggs, and I was like, yeah, no. I had some scrambled eggs, and they didn't sit well.
Mhm.
So I'm going to stick to the Daniel, right? Which is just fruits, vegetables, whole grain, quinoa, wild rice, brown rice. I've been doing beans.
Mhm.
I found I've been drinking decaf Earl Grey tea and lots of water, so
Mhm.
no caffeine. And that's it, right?
Yeah.
Lots of veggies, fruits, and it feels good. It's the lightest I've felt in a while, Jackie.
Yeah.
It's so weird because I'm all about, me and my grass-fed organic meats. I'm like, and I'm an O blood type. So, and who told me that? Okay, because I'm an O. Of course, the mind started going for me right when I started. Well, you're not gonna have any energy, and you're just gonna be
Mhm.
crabby, and you'll be tired. And it was the enemy trying to be like,
Yeah.
no, trying to stop me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All the excuses.
Well, and I think that's why so many people don't make the effort to try, because we fill our minds with the million and one excuses as to why we can't do it, and that it's
Right.
dangerous, and it's this and it's that. Jesus did it for 40 days. If Jesus can do it, like he's our example, right?
We could put in a few days, like
We
even
can
people
do
that
it.
don't want to do 21 days, right?
Yeah.
They can give it a shot, and they can look up Daniel Fast. When the notes are made for the podcast on all of the major podcast places, Apple,
Yeah.
Spotify, Amazon, all the places, YouTube, we'll make sure that we have a link, maybe Issy's link, because Issy's
Yeah.
amazing, the
She's,
Apostle
she's,
Issy.
and she
Uh,
has a book on fasting too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can post those because I know they were resources for both of us when we started the 40 days. And
Yeah.
I dropped off probably day 15, 14. Like
Hmm.
I made it, but I mean I still did. I didn't get to the juicing. I was like,
You were busy too. You were traveling and stuff. So there was,
oh, I had lots going
yeah.
on. My
Yeah.
house and moving, and I was like,
Oh,
this is just not. So I'm kind of stationary, at least in between homes right now. So I was like, this is a good time to clear the mind, right?
yeah.
There's
Clear
just
the
been
mind.
so much, right? Um, any scripture come up for you for tonight? I found Joel 2:12.
Hmm.
Return to me with all your heart, with fasting. And
Hmm.
today, Dr. Reverend, the pastor where I was, his name was Ted, he talked about the heart being like the center of the mind, right? Like
Hmm.
the heart that we communicate with is how we sort of broadcast to God or to the
Hmm.
world, right? Through our mind, our soul,
Hmm.
and which is interesting. And this is exactly what you're saying, right? That you felt this like quieting of the mind
Yeah.
so that then you could go to the
Yeah.
spirit. Maybe talk about, I didn't bring it up. My book came in, Spiritual Man.
Oh, oh gosh. Okay. So I
So why don't you
will,
talk
because
about
this,
this a little bit? Because I haven't started reading it yet. So don't give it away. I
okay.
want to, so
So because of it was interesting how God works. So
yep.
because I had sort of this, I just finished the fast and I just was like really like enamored with the fact, the body, soul, and spirit, or spirit, soul, body. That is the correct order in which we were supposed to be functioning.
Mhm.
And then I met this wonderful, awesome woman named Dora who approached me, and we had this chat in a parking lot one day after a Bible study. And she said to me, "You should read this book, and we should have like a um, like a book study together." And so she told me about it, and it's called The Spiritual Man, and it's by Watchman Nee. I have the book here. Um, Wow. One of the most incredible books I've ever read. And it's so interesting that Dora, God brings Dora into my life, because this book is
Right when you
just,
finish your fast too, right?
yeah, just putting things in perspective. And I was just, so it in the book, it has First Thessalonians 5:23, and it says, "May the God of peace himself sanctify you wholly, and may your spirit, soul, and body be kept sound and blameless at the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ." But he talks about the fact that, how is a person holy and sanctified? You're holy and sanctified by his spirit and soul and body being kept. You have to keep these things in order so that you could be sanctified. And so I just
So let's unpack sanctified because the
yeah, so
viewers might not understand that.
yeah, so sanctification is the process in which you're becoming a better version of yourself. You're following after Christ, and you're
I
trying.
call it to our highest potentiality.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the process essentially of sanctification is to have all of those things kept, right? Your spirit, your soul, and your body. And once they are kept in the way in which they need to be, then you're really functioning in true sanctification, right? Because when you're allowing the others to lead, when the soul is leading, then we're living out of our emotions, our thoughts, and our beliefs, and our all those issues, and we're living out of that, which we all know is going to take us down paths that we don't want to go down.
Misery,
Yeah. But, and then the spirit is
suffering.
quieted, right? The spirit becomes quieted, and you can't hear the spirit, which is your connection to God, right? So actually, I'm just going to go to where he discusses this important thing. Where he talks about in the beginning, it says, "Jehovah God formed man of dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul." So when God first created man, he formed him in dust from the ground. So that would be our bodies, and then breathed the breath of life into his nostrils. As soon as the breath of life, which became man's spirit, came into contact with man's body, the soul was produced.
Right.
So it was
Yeah.
the spirit and body coming together, which
And
then
they're to
created the
create the
soul.
soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And so it just goes into such great depth of understanding, which, to be honest with you, I feel like read the Bible my whole life, but when you start to see the distinctions where it's written soul or you see spirit, this book gives you a whole different perspective on what that truly means and the depth of it.
Yeah.
And it's really been an eye-opening experience to read this book. And the other two ladies who've joined us who are in the book club, Dora and this other woman, but that we are.
We're doing it in person, right?
Yes, and we are just all of us for the first time went, this is one of the most important books I've ever read. And I'm like, yes, we all agree. So it just gave us.
Well, you know what? We're going to promise our viewers that at some point, because we've talked about doing a red letter Bible study,
Yeah.
right? Through the Beatitudes, and then to maybe follow it up with something like this. We'll be bringing this together and inviting community in to join us. I know you're working through this like locally where you are and in person, which is so much juicier, right? Like it's so fun to like connect in person. And I think that this is so key. I can't wait to get into it either. Like I'm really excited about it, right?
Yeah, I'd love to have chats about it for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely we'll have a podcast.
I haven't even broke the spine yet. I haven't done anything, but I will.
Yeah,
it'll come. It'll come.
Yeah.
Well, I know. The other one that came up for me is funny because you were talking, and I was like, you know, that we're at this place with our mentor, right? Like working through with Taylor Welch and the Deep End podcast, and through his work at the Builders, part of his consulting through Novos and Kairos, and it's incredible. But that we've said we're going to kind of come back to the table again. I went off and like, I don't know what, I was being all flesh. I went off and did whatever I wanted to do. And now I want to get back at it in God's way. And as I was thinking that and told you of how this fast is coming to me, leaders fasted before making major decisions. Acts 13, 2-3.
Yeah. Yep.
You know,
right.
When we quiet the body, we often amplify the spirit. You've already said it.
Yeah.
And that's where God really wants us to lead with is the Holy Spirit leading our life. Like you said, not the mind. Wow.
Yes.
So powerful.
We want the Spirit. We want to be able to, well, because we have got Jesus, we have the Holy Spirit, but we also have a spirit that communes with that Holy Spirit. But when our soul and our body is in control, then we lose that connection. And, you know, when the soul is typically what the majority of people obviously have happening, right? Where it's leading and, you know, but when you get into the book, you realize that when the body becomes the leader, then you're in real trouble. And that would be like, you know, something like addiction, right? You're living your whole life to please the flesh, right? And then and then everything else just falls off the wheels and your wagon's gone. So,
well, we had that talk when you were down on Wednesday about that. I felt that was still like a stronghold that the enemy had over me around still living in the body with food noise. And this is where I really encourage anyone out there that has addiction, has lived with addiction, to really truly try fasting, because I can tell you that it's like night and day of like the amount of food noise I would have, and I have had my entire life. I know there's other things there. When I was a kid, food was kind of either not plentiful, or if it was there and I didn't like it, I was forced to eat it.
yeah.
So there was like, and then there was like corporal punishment if I didn't. So there's been food trauma for me since I was just a little wee girl. I know that. So it's part of that. But I know that it's the enemy's way to sort of get me to stay in the body.
Yes.
And to be like, to just live in the body and not have the ability to have conversations with God, right?
No, and also, you know, like food addiction, easy for me, definitely a problem for me my whole life, and feeling like you're always having to feed something, right? So it's that noisy body that just keeps asking for something, which is causing the rest of you to suffer. And then of course, then there's the guilt and the shame after you've done it. Why did I do that? Why did I eat you know, and so on and so forth. And we have a whole diet.
Or some people never think about it at all until they have high blood pressure, diabetes.
Yeah.
All the things, right?
Well, and the other thing too is, we have a huge dieting, you know, everybody wants to find the quick fix, the quick diet, the fast way, you know.
Oh my God. On that note, Jackie, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I don't even go down these like stars and stardom.
Yeah.
There are some emaciated people in the world right now. I
Yeah.
just gonna put that out there, that are beautiful young people
Yeah.
that are like I think it was like Kelly Osbourne, and I know she lost her father recently. She is
Yeah.
a skeleton.
Yeah.
She is
Yeah.
admitted to using these food blocking drugs.
The Ozempic and different
Yeah,
ones. Yeah.
Ozempic and other things. I mean,
Yeah.
they're wealthy people. They probably got a whole cocktail going in
Yeah.
that literally um, takes everything away. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and I see it with, I've seen several, like too many for it to be okay,
Yeah.
becoming so thin,
Yeah. And it's
where
not,
now they're just depriving the body.
it is, and they're not doing it in the way that's, glorifying, what God's creation is, right?
Right.
Because with everybody being chasing after diets and quick fixes and things like that, right? Through my process. So when I was doing the ISI part of um fast that we were doing, I lost
30 days. Yep.
probably about 15 pounds during that. And then my 21-day fast, I lost 30 pounds. And it came off so quickly, but it not just that it came off, it just felt so good and natural. And there's other issues that come up with, hanging skin and things like that. When you actually fast, your body does not do that. It
Yeah.
actually goes back properly and it makes you
Right.
stronger. It's an
That's right.
interesting thing that you don't think is going to happen, and it's surprising. But you know that
I
it's
just saw
God.
a picture of Issy actually, and she is like, I think she
Yes.
dropped 50 pounds.
Oh
Like,
yeah. She's
did you
lost a
see
lot
it?
of,
Yeah, she was
yeah.
like, I was alive on Instagram, and I was like, wow, she looks
Yeah.
like she's down like 70 pounds.
Yeah. And it's because she's figured out, because you see that she's figured out the fasting life and she's loving it because it makes you feel so great. Because I still continue with doing 2 days of fasting a week now, or just
Yeah.
water fasting a week, because the
Amazing.
feeling is so good, you don't want to lose it, right?
Right.
And so it's hard for people to hear that. They just think, "Oh, that's crazy." But I just highly encourage you to try. Just
Well,
to
and
see.
also, I'm gonna get all. It's funny because yesterday I was talking to Connie about you, and
Yeah.
then she told me because she just wanted to check in, right? And
Yeah.
I hung out with her sister the other day, Joanne. So a little shout out to Limitless Ladies, Limitless Church in Sarnia, and Connie Mannering, who is just changing the world, like just doing
Amazing.
amazing things in her ministry. But she told me that Pastor Stephen, her husband, and her, like I said, 5 days at the beginning of every month.
Yeah.
And then I talked to her about, and she said something, and I was like, with water. She's like, no fluids. I was like,
Oh.
what? And then I was like, okay, Jen, don't get all preachy. But then she came back, she's like, oh no, I didn't mean that, I meant, yeah, fluids. And I was like, oh, thank Jesus.
I don't think he'd survive.
No, I was like, please tell me you're not doing that, because to anyone that's listening, we don't want this to be medical advice, by the way.
Yes.
But you cannot live without water.
No.
Okay.
And
You
you need
can
it, like I
shut
always,
down your kidneys. You can do all
yes.
sorts of things, right?
I also put like gray sea salt in my water every day. And
And you
I
had some
did,
electrolytes, right?
yeah, and I took magnesium and potassium.
Yeah. So
So
you need to, even if they got like a Aussie trace minerals are amazing. So if you got little Aussie, and actually the man who runs Aussie Trace Minerals, this is a crazy story. So I'm
okay.
having a little squirrel moment here. So I sold one of my Sentivias, which is like a water treatment that, takes all the impurities out of water,
Yeah.
and then makes it just a slightly alkaline, around 7.5, maybe an 8 if you're lucky. I mean, it's pretty inexpensive for what it does. Anyway, he ends up living in Dorchester, Ontario, Canada.
Wow.
So he comes to my door, and then he brings me some samples, and he's like, I invented this company, like, and they ship all the way around. So if you see the Aussie Minerals, they're a local, like literally down the road from me. And he was the nicest guy, so nice. So his minerals would be ideal because they're way better than trace minerals, concentrates. I mean, there's a lot of things on the market, but um, you know, uh, pinch for pinch, they're like 10,000 times stronger when you're trying to get trace minerals. And you just need a little drop. Like you said, the Celtic sea salts are quite good too. But if you want to make sure you get the full spectrum, you could go with something like that. because you can get some side effects, right? Like you can eventually start to, you know, dry up the kidneys, right? Like you need to really make sure that you're getting your mineral intake in, because there is some physiological and anatomical things that change in the body when we're just living on water too. Do you
Yeah.
find that you can't eat as much now, like after the
Abs-
21 days, like your stomach shrunk, right?
yeah,
They say
absolutely.
that, or your
I did.
stomach
I
shrunk?
did. If I had to say I had any challenge, refeeding was a bit of a challenge for me.
Yeah, I
I
remember
got
us talking about it. You're like, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know how
got
to
really
start eating.
sick trying to refeed, and I'd started with bone broth. I'd gone with different. I looked at so many different things, and then I talked to you, and you're like, "Fruit, Jacquie, fruit,"
Fruit and
and I did
avocado.
it,
Yes.
and I was like, "Okay, the fruit is the way.
Yeah.
Fruit
Well,
is
and
the
you
way."
know, the first thing I had, that papaya we shared together,
Yeah,
it was my inspiration too, because it just felt so, you know, when food, I think often we don't sit with the food. I mean, we eat too much. We've talked
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
But also like just ask the body what it wants.
Once, yeah.
Like,
That's
or ask
something else that I
God.
did.
Even
Yeah,
better, let's ask God
yeah,
what he wants for us right now.
yeah.
That's how I learned. I'm not doing this fast. I know that Pastor Kim had started a Daniel fast or something within her ministry. Um,
Mhm.
and I was like, no, I'm not doing that right now. And then I saw you, and then whatever happened, and then I started, right? Like I'm doing my
Yeah,
own journey. Um, and not a full fast, but maybe it'll lead into the full fast.
yeah.
Um, you know, because I'm really, you know, I've really been not patient with God lately. I'm like, why aren't you telling me what I got to do?
Well, and it's because it's us, right? We're always like,
Right.
"Where are you, God?" But it's
Why? Hello, it's
I'm
me,
so
Jennifer.
distracted.
Remember
Yeah, I
that
can't
book?
hear you.
Remember that book? Hello, dear God, it's me, Margaret, or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
hello, it's me, Jennifer. Like, why aren't you listening? You know, like in Matthew 4, 1 and 2, Jesus fasted for 40 days before stepping into ministry.
Yep.
So when I think about that, I'm like, okay, you're
Mhm.
asking to step into a ministry and wondering the path and what's next and give me the next step. How about you be an obedient
Mhm.
servant
Yeah.
and try this? You really want to be Christ-like? Let's go.
No, yeah, absolutely. Well, and here's the thing, it's going to prep you for whatever it is that God's calling you for, because it's going to bring up all that stuff that you're blinded to so you can deal with it before you bring it into the next season with you. You
Well,
don't want
it's
to
so
bring it.
interesting, Jackie, you say that, because 8 months ago, like last year, you know, my last year was HE double toothpicks. It was a lot, right?
Yeah.
And there's still been challenges and there's still things. However, even going from 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, don't
Mhm.
forget the snacks, everybody snacks,
Yeah.
to 1 meal a day.
Yeah.
In the last year, I've been able to fully walk away and not felt tied to alcohol in any
Mhm.
way,
Yeah.
to overeating,
Mhm.
usually, almost always, to making better, more grounded decisions and not so emotional, like being a spaz, which I would say characterized when in life's valleys a lot more than the current last year Jen version,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
I would attribute to God and this fasting. I could see a connection there, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
less noisy.
Yes.
I'm more aware when the noise is there, and I can go, no, we're not
No.
going there today.
Yeah.
We're not playing in that sandbox anymore. And so it's so powerful. I'm
It
I'm
is.
so happy
When
and so
you
proud of you.
Oh,
Woo!
thank you. When you get to that quieted place where your mind's quiet, your body's quiet, and then you're just very in slow mo, um, you kind of really want to always go back to say, "Wow, I want that feeling again," which I think also makes you start to love this creation that God gave us. This, like us, we love ourselves more, to want to do more for God, but also to take care of this vessel that God gave us so that we can do the things He's called us to do. Right.
Oh, amen to that.
And do
Wow,
it in health, not struggling and trying to get through. And
right.
yeah, it's definitely going to be all right. And then you can also speak to the fact that when you tested me before I did that fast and then after that fast, how much it changed my health,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I mean, so many things had changed.
Blood
Everything was in
sugar,
order,
like all kinds of things, right?
all kinds of things, right? It
All
had such
kinds of
a
things. You know, I know that and there's information everywhere on the internet, so we don't have to give people. I mean, we're sharing testimonies and truths and narratives, but I know what I would pray over for a fast to connect me with God is any of those old wounds, because of so many old stories of trauma for me,
Mhm.
emotional patterns, stress responses, old wounds, control mechanisms, which we all have. So because we're working with people as spiritual counselors, I feel like this has to be a big a piece that is very important in the work
Yeah.
that we bring to the people that are called to work with us, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I see the power of it. And it's like anything, Jackie, and we know in our training with Taylor, right? Be, do, have.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to be it, you got to
Yeah,
do
do
it,
it.
then you'll have it.
Yeah.
Right.
You do
And
have.
so I'm really committed to fasting being a very regular and even deeper part, like doing this Daniel piece, which I've never fully committed to, and then getting, going right into the Daniel. It went from Daniel to just fruits and vegetables, right? And
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It went to juice. It went from Daniel to juicing. Yeah.
yeah.
And then there's a one scripture that I don't have access to it because I don't know if you can look it up
Sure I can.
on the King James version of Matthew 17:21.
Yeah.
So the verse 21, actually if you read 20 and 21, so verse 21 has been removed from basically all the newer versions of the Bible. And I think there's a reason behind that. And that's why I think it's really powerful if you read it. So it's Matthew 17, start with verse 20. And then
Yeah.
21.
Because of your little faith, he told them, for truly I tell you, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you will tell this mountain, move here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. However, this kind does not come out except by prayer and fasting.
Fasting. And 21 is removed from all the new versions.
It is. Look at that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it goes 20 and then it goes to 22.
yeah.
Okay.
So
And
it's,
then, wow.
yes. So that was another thing that I just was like,
Yeah,
and
because I'm looking at it and anyways, you can't really see it, but it's
no,
someone's Bible, and what they've done is they've written in the 21 by
yeah,
hand.
by hand because they've removed
However,
it.
this kind does not come out except by prayer and fasting.
And so they're talking about removing evil spirits.
Yeah.
It's above, right? So it's
Right.
saying the only way to come out is through fasting and prayer.
Right.
Right. And so it's to me, and the fact that it's been removed from the majority of the newer versions tells me there's something of importance here that we're missing and that we need to be doing.
Ding, 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 ding. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Well, you know what? If one of Taylor's friends, and I deeply respect him and his work and how God's working through him and how he's calling in so many teachers, prophets, you know,
The
apostles,
fivefold ministry. Yeah.
right? Like a whole ministry. And Issy's one of them, right?
Yeah.
And I deeply respect her. There's a
Yeah.
lot of really, deeply, with it and spiritual leaders out there that know the importance of this in
Yeah.
terms of opening up the channel and, getting on the phone with God,
Yeah.
which is incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Incredible. Anything else? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that was
That was
good.
good.
Like unless you
Yeah.
have more questions about my experience.
No, I mean, if I think about what you just talked about, and
Yeah.
this, what was really happening there, Jesus was really pointing out that faith, prayer, and fasting was how, like you said, how we cast out demons, right? And demons being all those things that how the enemy comes to the mind. They're not just, because sometimes you say that people are like, they think you're literally like, people are flying across rooms and that does happen. Hey, but demons can just be, you're something that you've normalized, like, I'm nobody likes me, or I'm too stupid, or I'm not good enough for that career, or whatever. Can be really just negative self-talk. It can be many things, right? It comes
It's
in many, many forms.
it's those familiar spirits that sit around and have followed your family for generations and know what you're all about. And they sit
Right,
around waiting to just keep using that against you, right? So
right.
it's like I said, the stuff that the blind spot stuff floats up in a fast, so that you start to go, oh, wait a minute, I have
Oh,
that. Oh, that's it. Oh, okay.
there's an old pattern. There's an old
Yeah.
ancestral wound. Here's this. I know we talked off camera about some of them, and it's beautiful that it came up, just to get it to bubble to the surface, because when we're in the body noise, there's so much going on. I feel like, as a doctor, that it's like the mind wouldn't have the capacity because there's too much happening in the body. And that's why I
Yeah.
get people's body and pathways clean and clear,
Yeah.
so that we can go to this mind level, right?
Yeah.
And now, God bringing us back together to work in this ministry, it's all making sense to me, right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, now I'm getting it. I
Yeah.
understand, right? Like, literally.
Yeah.
And then I think the other piece that we really need to, like, press home is that you can't just fast, that it
Yeah.
has to be fasting and prayer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And prayer has been like I feel like I all day long pray.
Right.
Yeah, and then sometimes I actually, like, every day I have like a dedicated time of just prayer, but I'm
Hmm.
like talking to God all day long.
Yeah.
I'm glorifying him. I'm asking him. I'm apologizing. I'm repenting. I'm doing all sorts of
Mhm.
things. But I think during this fast, and how was that for you during the fast prayer?
So there'll be days when I felt weak. Like, there's funny because you have like a bit of a roller coastery kind of time. So some days you feel super like, let's go, I could run a marathon. And then there's other days where you're like, oh, this is going to be a quiet day. And I just remember those quiet days. It's tough. And I just say, God, just speak to me, because you just feel weak. And you're just, but the thing is that your mind, you can hear God's voice, but the taking the time to speak it out or think it out, you feel weak, right? And that's where where Jesus, it says Jesus was weak, and that's when Satan came, right,
Yep.
to test him, because it's in that weakness that you feel like you can't even talk or fight or argue. You're just like, whatever. But
Just take me.
but it also makes you feel like the things that Jesus went through, right? Like,
Right.
it's that weak point that you're at, and then you're like, okay, I don't even have the strength to pray, and I just say, God, just be with me today, and just talk to
Right.
me. That's it. That's all
Right.
I've got.
So good.
And you
Just
just,
looking over my little notes here.
yeah,
Um, what is, this kind? I think that's good. I feel like we
yeah,
really, like, unpacked a lot of stuff here. You
yeah.
know, thinking about who this could reach. Even if I kind of went live today on Palm Sunday and talked a little bit about some reflections that I was just having. And I said, even because I saw a couple of people on, like, from my old party days that kind of still
Mhm.
follow me and stuff. And one guy's name was Scotty. And I know he's deep into addiction and alcoholism, and just bless Scotty, right, on his journey. And I said, even if you're not into God, or you don't know what God is, but that something's got to change in your life. Um, and I got it from you, Jackie. Like, you encouraged me. I was like, just reading those red words in the Bible, right? Like,
Yeah.
get an app, right? And begin there, because that will tell you who this man Jesus is,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Not is,
Hmm.
and what his plan and his message is for all of us, right?
Yeah.
And really, there's so many people out there suffering with addiction, with generational patterns that come up, with emotional strongholds, whether it's depression,
Mhm.
anxiety, chronic stress patterns in their body, chronic pain, pain. We were talking about this on Wednesday, about pain being, all those emotions held in the fascia, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, people that are running to their RMT and whatever. Meanwhile, I had a massage today, but I just did therapeutic. It was lovely today. Deep rooted fear, wounds in their identity. I could go on, but
Yeah.
the fasting is for you. But I would really get into those red words in the Bible,
Hmm.
so that you can have someone walking through it with you, named Jesus, and someone to take to prayer, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, you know, you're not at the back of the line if you decide to just say, okay, even if it's an idea of like, I wonder what this is about. Who's this?
Mhm.
Who are these crazy people, Jackie and Jen? And what is the, you know, what is this red words? Okay, I'm going to go get a Bible. I encourage you, if you're
Yeah.
listening, you stumbled on our podcast, and you're new into this whole world, to do that. That's my kind of closing notes. Any words of wisdom from you?
Well, I just wanted to kind of close on going back to the spirit, soul, and body. They're three in one, and they interact with each other. And I think what a lot of people don't understand is that, you know, the soul impacts the body, and the body's a mirror of the soul. And so when we're dealing with our physical issues in life, it's a mirror of what's going on inside. And so that disconnection has happened, and culturally, it's also happened in systems, medical system. They want you to believe that there's all these things, but the problem is it's an internal issue that has gotten to the point where it's become a physical issue. And I personally think that having a medical system and having, you know, all this, what's the word I'm looking for? This intervention that takes place to help you through your, you know, health issues is really preventing you from seeing the sin that is living within that soul of yours that needs to be dealt with, so that you can live with your body in full, like, you know, the full potential that God wanted you to live in.
Oh, wow. That's really powerful. You just made me like, I was like, oh my gosh, it's another connection from Dr. Henry Wright's work, who
Mhm.
wrote A More Excellent Way and The Spiritual Roots of Disease, where he really unpacks that the disconnection from self, God, and from others is, and I wonder like how that's related to body, you know, spirit, soul, body, right?
Mhm.
Like I feel like that's the disconnect, right? So
Yeah.
disconnection from God, spirit,
Yeah.
disconnection from self, mind, not
Yeah.
even being able to renew the mind,
Yeah.
and then other, I guess, because we physically get around the world and connect with, you know, through intimacy or hugging or touching, you know, like with other people, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the roots of how we begin to get disease, right? And allow the enemy to come in with that fear, stress, and anxiety, right?
Mhm.
That can
Yeah.
overtake us. So that I was just like, oh my gosh, that you know, what's his name? Needham. What's the book again?
Oh,
Spiritual
The
Men?
Spiritual Man by Watchman Nee.
Yeah, and we'll put that in the notes too. Um, you know, a really sort of kind of quote that I wrote down here just to kind of end is, there are some things in life you don't break by trying harder. You break them by surrendering deeper. And I
Mm.
think that that's what this fasting, especially like your testimony of 21 days on water, that preceded by like almost 40 days of fasting anyway, like,
Mhm.
wow. And here we are starting a ministry. I'm like, I got to catch up. I'm just kidding. No
No,
comparisons,
no.
my friend, at
God
all.
calls us to our journeys.
That's
We just
right.
have to be
Well, and it's
surrendered.
here I am, right?
Yeah.
I'm traversing it. I'm learning and growing with you and with God at our side. So
Yeah.
anyway, I think to our viewers, thank you for tuning in. You can find us on all the major podcasts on Amazon, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can reach us online at Sifting Life Ministries on Facebook, and at siftinglifeministries@gmail.com. Um, thank you for joining us. My name's Dr. Jen Hewson, and my lovely partner, Jackie, and we'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us. God bless.
Thank you so much for joining us at Sifting Life. We hope that today's conversation has brought you a bit of inspiration and a sense of community. As we each continue sifting through our own lives, let's remember to keep faith at the center and trust that God is guiding us in what we hold on to and what we must let go of. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love for you to subscribe and join us again. Feel free to share your own sifting stories with us. We're always here to listen and grow together. Until next time, may you be blessed and may your heart be full of peace.